Go ahead. Yeah. You know, I understand that there are a lot of contemporary preachers in churches where they go out into the bars to hold church. Well, we've been doing it backwards. We've been holding bar in church for a long time. It's not Club Med, but it could be Club Fred today, right? The music will be in that quality and in that character. And if you think that's not churchy enough, just keep listening and watching. It will fill you. I'm really delighted. I'm glad you could all be here, and please feel free to come closer. I wish I could send a bartender out there to take your drink orders, but there is no cover, no minimum. You just need to be here. I was wondering who comes to church the Sunday after Christmas. Surely by then you've had enough religion to keep you quite happy. It's like overeating turkey on Christmas Day, but some of you have come. You know, we clergy, we know there are 2 Sundays a year when you don't know who's going to come and you know you can get away with anything. And the Sunday after Easter is one, and the Sunday after Christmas. This is the most forgiving crowd I'll ever get. I've already seen a few true trees abandoned by the roadside. Have you? Poor things, they look quite desolate. But we're all at that point now in the Christmas season when we're kind of already thinking of putting it in the past. And of course, that reminds me of W.H. Auden's wonderful long poem that ends with words that begin, well, so that is that. Now we must dismantle the tree, put the decorations back into their cardboard boxes, some have gotten broken, and carry them up to the attic. The holly and the mistletoe must be taken down and burnt, and the children got ready for school. There are enough leftovers to do, warmed up for the rest of the week. Not that we have much of an appetite, having drunk such a lot, stayed up so late, attempted quite unsuccessfully to love all of our relatives, and in general, grossly overestimated our powers. You feel a little spent? I know I do. Let's call it the Christmas hangover. Not the alcohol, but the merriment. You can only be happy for so long before you're kind of phoning it in, I would say. In my case, I got heartburn for Christmas this year. Not from the meal. I actually started feeling pains in my chest back in late November. Went to my doctor and he said, "You're not having a heart attack. You've got acid reflux." And so I've been taking omeprazole for the last couple of weeks. So it sounds like I got a gift that keeps on giving. How wonderful for me. If you've come this Sunday before, you know that I actually like this service. I can indulge my inner voices that don't look as home on a given Sunday. I will call her my inner Alice Roosevelt Longworth. Anybody know about her? Alice Roosevelt was the oldest daughter of Theodore Roosevelt, grew up to marry Mr. Longworth, who eventually became Speaker of the House. It was an unhappy marriage, which is why it lasted until he died. But she lasted until 1980, was 96 years old when she passed away, lived almost her entire life in Washington, D.C., became the doyenne of Washington society. And she was famous for having parties and sitting on a settee, that's a fancy word for couch, and had a little pillow next to her with beautiful embroidery on it that read, if you can't say something good about someone, sit right here by me. So today it is positively required to be irreverent about the holidays. It is strong enough to put up with our attitude. And if it seems unworthy of a church, think of it as kind of cleansing the Yuletide temple of the money changers and the merrymakers who are now well past due. I'm joined in this endeavor by Wright McCarger and an assortment of friends whom he rounded up for the occasion, who will leaven and lighten the morning with songs that we could not sing before Christmas. They are probably not welcome in any church at any time, but we are not any church. So let's start with the most outrageous song we could come up with that we can sing even in this church, one that skewers the money changers and everyone else. Make it happen.
Here by golly, disapproval would be folly. Deck the halls with hunks of holly, fill the cup and don't say when. Kill those turkeys, ducks, and chickens, mix the punch, drag out the dickens. Even though the prospect sickens, brother, here we go again. On Christmas Day, you can't get sore, your fellow man you must adore. There's times you rob him all the more, the other 364. Relation sparing no expensal, send some useless old utensil, or a matching pen and pencil, just the thing I need. How nice. It doesn't matter how sincere it is or how heartfelt the spirit. Sentiment will not endear it. What's important is the price. Hark, the Meyer circular sings, advertising wondrous things. God rest ye merry merchants, may he make Black Friday pay. Angels we have heard on high tell us to go out and buy. So let those raucous sleigh bells jingle, hail our dear old friend Kris Kringle, driving his reindeer across the sky. Don't stand underneath when they fly by. That's a Tom Lehrer tune.
Yes, it is.
You may want to explain, but when I was a child, that record played at our house almost constantly.
Yes. And you ask him off mic what Lehrer song he took to school one day long ago. Not now.
Not here.
Not
okay.
now.
Ask me later.
Yeah, later. Yeah.
I knew them all by heart, and some were not appropriate.
We still do. Yes. We can poison pigeons in the park another day, okay, right? Yeah, Tom Lehrer was of his age. He and a few others made light of everything, and there are lots of jokes. So I went looking for Christmas jokes, and guess what? There are tons of them. So I'm only going to give you a few. And if we had a trap set here, I'd ask for rim shots. So here comes the jokes. I once bought my kid a set of batteries for Christmas with a note on it saying, "Toys not included." Rim shot. This past Christmas, I told my girlfriend for months in advance that all I wanted was an Xbox. That's it, beginning and end of list. Xbox. You know what she got me? A homemade frame with a picture of us from our first date, which is fine, because I got her an Xbox. Let that sink in. Christmas is a time when kids tell Santa what they want and adults pay for it. National deficits are when adults tell the government what they want and the kids pay for it. Bidding ding. In the old days, it was not called the holiday season. The Christians called it Christmas and went to church. The Jews called it Hanukkah and went to synagogue. The atheists went to parties and got drunk. People passing each other on the street would say, Merry Christmas, or Happy Hanukkah, or watch out for that lamppost. I'm flattered that you think I can afford all the things you put on your list. A lovely thing about Christmas is that it's compulsory, like a thunderstorm, and we all have to go through it together. The Supreme Court has ruled that they cannot have a nativity scene in Washington, D.C. This wasn't for religious reasons. They couldn't find 3 wise men or a virgin. Rimshot. Yes. Ever wonder what people got Jesus for Christmas? Imagine this. It's like, oh, great, socks. You know I'm dying for your sins, right? Yeah, but thanks for the socks. They go great with my sandals. Christmas shopping. Wouldn't it be wonderful to find one gift you didn't have to dust, that could be used right away, that was practical, fit everyone, was personal, and would be remembered for a long time? So I got everyone a flu shot. Now, Santa deserves a category unto himself. The main reason Santa is so jolly, said George Carlin, is because he knows where all the bad girls live. There are 4 stages to a man's life, writes someone else: when he believes in Santa, when he doesn't believe in Santa, when he is Santa Claus, and when he looks like Santa Claus. I left Santa gluten-free cookies and organic soy milk, and he put a solar array in my stocking. There is a raft of satirical Santa songs, from the country and western Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, to a funk parody called Santa Fly, to Arlo Guthrie's political protest song, The Paws of Mr. Claus, which includes the lyrics, Santa Claus wears a red suit, he's a communist, has a beard and long hair, must be a pacifist. What's in that pipe that he's smoking? Santa is, when you think about it, a really subversive animal. Listen to a couple of songs and see if you can hear the other parts that Santa doesn't always put on display. The man with the bag is up.
Jingle the bells that'll tingle all your troubles away. Everybody's waiting for the man with a bag, 'cause Christmas is coming again.
He's got a sleigh full, it's not gonna stay full. It's got stuff to drop at every stop of the way. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag, 'cause Christmas is coming again.
He'll be here with the answer to the prayers that you made through the years.
You'll get yours if you've done everything you should. Extra special good, he'll make this December the one to remember, the best and the merriest you'll ever did have.
Everybody's waiting for the man with a bag, 'cause
Christmas is here again. Oh, Mr. Kringle is soon gonna jingle all the bells that'll tingle all your troubles away. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag. Christmas is here again.
And he's got a sleigh, but he's not gonna stay full. He's got drops to make it every stop of the way. Everybody's waiting for the man with a bag, 'cause Christmas is here again.
He'll be here with the answers to the prayers that you've made through the years.
You'll get yours if you've done everything you should. Extra special good.
He'll make this December the one to remember, the best and the merriest you'll ever did have.
Everybody's waiting,
They're all congregating.
waiting for the man with the bag.
You better watch out now.
Now, are you singing Santa Baby? So wait right here. Okay, you gotta go get your prop. Did you learn already? I know I did that Mariah Carey song, You're All, what is it? What is the name of it? All I Want for Christmas Is You is now the top Christmas song. I mean, it's the one everybody wants to hear. And of course, there's a little suggestivity in that, I understand. There are several suggestive songs about Santa Claus. You remember, some of you, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus? Of course, those of us who know the lyrics know that it's Dad. But then there's another one that's coming up in just a moment. Now, while we can't bring Eartha Kitt back from the dead, who made this famous, and I can't import Kylie Minogue, the good news is that Kelly here can fill in for both of them beautifully. Santa Baby.
Santa baby, slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, an outer space convertible to light blue. Been an angel all year, Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Come and trim my Christmas tree with some decorations bought at Tiffany's. Hey, hey, I really do believe in you. Let's see if you believe in me too. Ba-doo-ba-doo, Santa baby, forgot to mention one little thing, a ring. And I don't mean on the phone. Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Stand and trim my Christmas tree with some decorations bought at Tiffany's. Next year I could be as good if you check off my Christmas list. Boo-doo-boo-doo, Santa baby, forgot to mention one little thing, a yacht. And like, really, that's totally not a lot, okay? Santa baby, and hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry down the chimney tonight.
Well, who wouldn't fall for that? You'll buy that. But I guess Santa as the original sugar daddy makes a certain degree of sense. But some of you ladies out there know that no sugar daddy comes without a cost. And once the romance is gone, all those twinkling eyes and cherry noses become just another guy falling asleep on the couch in the afternoon. They fall into their familiar old ways, and Santa Claus is no exception, as the song Surabaya Santa is all about. I thought you were heading out too soon. Come on over here, Miss Kelly. So let's imagine that Santa has given her everything she wanted, and now she has to pay for it.
I'm getting there, all right? I'm getting there.
Take your time, Miss Mary.
I was just 23 when you rolled into town. Just a girl full of fantasies and longings. I saw you and knew I had to be with you. And you looked in my eyes and you asked me my name. And I trembled before you like a baby. And gently I kissed you. Who could resist you? You took me heart and soul. And before I had the chance to gain control, we retired to your palace at the pole, where we only had ourselves and the reindeer and the elves, and a lot of things I could have said about the life I could have led if I had had the sense to stay away. But here we are, Nick. And so, Nick, I know it's time for you to go, Nick. I know by now I'll never claim you as my own. I've been resigned to spend my Christmases alone. So au revoir, Nick. It's grand, Nick. I don't pretend to understand, Nick. I saw you look at Blitzen long and lovingly, the way you used to look at me. I have spent 20 years in this drafty retreat, just the latest in the line of Mrs. Claus's. I've sat here and wondered what you want from me. 'Cause you sit all alone on the couch in the den and you watch Miracle on 34th Street. You get sad and weepy, can't even see me, won't even say hello. Now you're telling me it's time for you to go. Ha! Sling your sack upon your back and ho, 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 ha! And what matters most of all is to sit inside some mall. And you never think of me while I am pining by the tree. But never mind, Nick, I'll survive while you are gone. I set you free, Nick. Goodbye, Nick. Go fly your reindeer through the sky, Nick. I don't suppose you'd ever want me by your side. I know by now you want a plaything, not a bride. So on your way, Nick. Shalom, Nick. Oh, don't feel the need to hurry home, Nick. Should I need shelter from the cold and bitter storm, I've got the elves to keep me warm. Oh, no, Nick, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just going so crazy, all cooped up in here by myself, you know. I mean, just can you listen, Frank? I mean, come on, this is a church. Is there some wine in here somewhere? Oh my gosh. No, wait, no. Take me with you. Oh my gosh, it'd be so fun. Oh, don't you think so? Oh, come on, isn't there any compassion left underneath all those layers of fat? Oh, you disgust me. Oh, it's so easy to be you, isn't it? Yes, just sitting there deciding who's naughty and who's nice. Well, who died and made you God, Mr. Claus? Oh, sorry. But never mind, Nick. Okay, Nick. I hate to keep you from your sleigh, Nick. When you return, I will be many miles away.
call your lawyer New Year's Day.
That's all for me, Nick. Gangway, Nick.
I'll miss you less than I can say, Nick. Have fun with all the little kids along your route. I'll get the mansion and the factory to boot. I will not wait until the snow beneath me thaws. I will escape your Santa Claus.
You didn't know it was so dramatic up there, did you? Very impressive. Well, Santa actually was one of our great exports in the United States. Giving through this character has gone all over the world thanks to our global reach. Do you know where Santa's very big? China, Japan, Vietnam, and of all places, Kyrgyzstan. They love Santa and they love the giving of gifts. What began so many years ago was a legend about a sad bishop from Turkey, or modern-day Turkey, who helped young women avoid prostitution, turned into the jolly elf who lives at the North Pole and gives out gifts. At this point, he's not the thin bishop, but the fat guy in the red suit, who eats every cookie in front of him, drinks apparently Coca-Cola. I think he must have a gig with the people there, and operates what is doubtless the largest and most extensive manufacturing and distribution enterprise on earth, and notwithstanding Jeff Bezos. I understand the elves, though, are finally beginning to mobilize. They're trying to get organized. They're talking to the folks at the AFL-CIO, and they've come to Santa with at least one demand: that they be redesignated from elves and now be called subordinate clauses. I'm just the messenger. But of course, in an enterprise that big, Amazon Prime notwithstanding, things don't always turn out as planned. For example, Ken Nesbitt wrote this poem about December 26th. A BB gun, a model plane, a basketball, electric train, a bicycle, a cowboy hat, a comic book, a baseball bat, a deck of cards, a science kit, a racing car, a catcher's mitt. So that's my list of everything that Santa Claus forgot to bring. And Shel Silverstein, never to be undone. This is called the Christmas Dog, D-O-G. What's that now? Footsteps on the rooftop? Could it be a cat or a mouse? Who's this down the chimney? A thief with a beard and a big sack for robbing the house. I'm barking, I'm growling, I'm biting his butt. He scowls and jumps back in his sleigh. I scare his strange horses, they leap in the air. I frighten the whole bunch away. Now the house is all peaceful and quiet again. The stockings are safe as can be. Won't the kiddies be glad when they wake up tomorrow and see how I have guarded the tree? Things aren't always ideal. Let's admit that for Christmas. Our chapel community went off-site last week, and they held a blue Christmas event. For those who do not find the season quite so merry and bright for whatever reason, and I got to say I'm sympathetic. From Thanksgiving on, we clergy are running every day, doing everything, smiling all the time, whether we want to or not. But then there are those with legitimate reasons to be sad. They are lonely or isolated. They are dealing with illnesses or things. And everyone being happy all around them does not make them happier. It sometimes makes them sadder. There are lots of reasons, therefore, to think that not everyone would be merry and bright. And one reason really is loneliness. That's what's behind that great 1943 song, I'll Be Home for Christmas, If Only in My Dreams. Written during the war, it was intended to portray the lives of soldiers and sailors overseas, expressing their missing home. Just 5 years later, someone else wrote another song that didn't catch on right away until a young man from Tupelo, Mississippi, made it famous. And we thought we'd give you our rendering of Blue Christmas.
We broke up. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree. They won't mean a thing, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue memories start calling, that's when those blue teardrops start falling. You'll be doing all right with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, blue Christmas.
Yeah, it could be blue because you're lonely, but some people are just not going to like Christmas, period. We call them Scrooges, which is in some respects quite fair. He's he's essentially the anti-Claus when you think about it. He's everything Santa Claus isn't. You may remember how he's first described in the book. Dickens writes, "Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, hard and sharp as flint from which no steel had ever struck out, generous fire, secret and self-contained and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red and his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. A frosty rime was on his head and on his eyebrows and on his wiry chin. He carried his own temperature, low temperature, always about with him. He iced his coffee in the dog days of summer and didn't thaw it 1 degree at Christmas. Completely the opposite of Santa. But we forget that the point of the story is that he changes. And after his adventures with the spirits, he is so ebullient that he goes out into the street and runs into the man whom he denied charity to the day before. And we're going to hear more about that in a minute. He is clearly, all the way through the book, a modern meanie of the Grinch-like extraction. And so let's hear about the Grinch this time, who is the Scrooge of our era.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
Oh, really? You don't say. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
Really? Well, you're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Given the choice between you, I'd take the seasick crocodile.
You're a foul one, Mrs. Grinch. You are nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mrs. Grinch. The three words that best describe you are as follows, and as I quote, stink, stank, stunk. Usually.
I think the Scrooge character is almost as durable as the Santa Claus character. And it's good. We saw the bad side of Santa. We should see the good side of Mr. Scrooge. Because as I said at the end of the book, he has had quite the turnaround. He dressed himself all in his best, it says, and got out onto the streets. He had not gone far when, coming towards him, he beheld the portly gentleman who had walked into his counting house the day before. It sent a pang across his heart to think how this old gentleman would look upon him when they met. But he knew his path lay straight before him, and he took it. "My dear sir," said Scrooge, quickening his pace and taking the old gentleman by it with both hands, "how do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you. A Merry Christmas to you, sir." "Mr. Scrooge?" "Yes," said Scrooge, "that is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon, and will you have the goodness?" And here Scrooge whispered in his ear. "Lord bless me!" cried the gentleman, as if his breath had been taken away. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?" "My dear sir, if you please," said Scrooge, "not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?" My dear sir," said the other, shaking his hands, I don't know what to say about such munificence. My dear, don't say anything, please. Come see me. Will you come see me?" "Well, I will," cried the gentleman, and it was clear he meant to do it. So Scrooge and the Grinch both come around, don't they? Of course, remember the Grinch, he was waiting for sounds of weeping and instead heard sounds of singing, and it was said that day that his heart grew 3 sizes that day. One of my favorite more recent characters is Frank Cross. Who knows who I mean? It's a movie called Scrooged, and Bill Murray is a heartless television executive who has forced everyone to work on Christmas Eve, and in order to make it even more fun, he has created a tiny sleigh with tiny reindeer, which are in fact mice that have had antlers glued to their heads. He's really quite heartless, but even he comes around. A perfect opportunity to talk about our offering. because we all have a Santa and a Scrooge lurking within us. Jingle Bells is coming up. You might want to position yourself. The offering gives us a chance to cultivate our reformed Scrooge, to bring forth our delightful Santa, or Mrs. Claus, as the case may be. But it really is an opportunity to ask yourself the why and wherefore of sharing your well-being. It is at its best a prayer and a sacrament, a prayer in that you ought sincerely to make a conscious choice. I'm going to do this and do it now. And it's a sacrament in that it actually changes the world by sustaining this institution and also helping other organizations around us, because we divide our offering every week between those half and half, so that those we support us, but we also send it out into communities, to the organizations that help us do the good that we cannot do by ourselves. A fellow long ago said that even as you do it to the least of these, you have done it even to me. So if you've ever wanted someone to do you a favor, you can do it now. You can do yourself a favor by doing someone else a favor. You can give and mean it, because it's clear that the old man knew that Scrooge meant it. With that in mind, we're going to take our weekly offering, and you'll be cheered along the way by having a one-horse open sleigh help you along. Jingle bells, please.
Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Hey, 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 hey. Bells on bobtail rings, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifting bank, and then we got upset. Upset? Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the fields of night on this merry Christmas night, off we go to the snow. Bells are ringing, they'll be singing. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell. 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 Jingle bell, jangle bell. All the way on a one-horse open sleigh.
That's a tough song to sing. And you had fun too, which is what matters most. Well, this is a church service, and that means it deserves a little thinking as well as listening. Up here in the northern realms, winter enters with a birth, and it leaves with a death. Have you ever thought about that? In the Christian tradition, we begin winter with Christmas, and we say goodbye with Easter. I think that paradox is important. It reminds us that even the times that are hard are also filled with possibility, and the times that are filled with possibility often have risks attached too. Winter, in some ways, is when the earth itself hibernates, takes its annual nap. I like that thought because I think there are many life cycles, from the flies and the microorganisms all the way up to turtles and other things that live far longer than we do. And I'd like to think that a day is a different length for each creature, and that maybe the earth sees every year as a single day in its existence. Of course, to hibernate is a kind of a sleeping thing, and I don't know about you, but when I sleep, I dream. When the mind takes itself on a journey away from the familiar and out of the body, as it says, scientists are now saying that dreams are how the brain cleans up after a day's work. Kind of puts all the files back in order, makes sure things aren't too cluttered. I dream a lot now, which I suppose comes with being old because I have more clutter that needs to be tended to. I wonder, though, do other things dream? I know we've seen evidence in dogs and maybe even cats, but maybe those bears in their caves do a little bear dreaming, and hedgehogs, and maybe even things like rhizomes and roots. Maybe not dreaming the way you and I do, but kind of hunkering down. The trees, think of the trees. They've given up all their leaves and all the sap is squeezing inside, kind of hiding as far away from the cold as possible. Perhaps thinking of future leaves and fruit and flowers. It's as though everything has its marsupial moment. We all go inside a warm place where we can hide in a pouch and wait for the warmth to come back, where we don't matter, where it doesn't matter if the light is thin or the clouds linger on. Of course, we humans, fools that we are, we gamely trudge on as if winter were just putting on more clothes, working as hard as we always do, thinking we just have to get through another day. And I think that's wrong of us in the long run. Our ancestors, before electricity and reliable heat, they just went to bed earlier and slept later. This does not seem to me a wholly bad idea. They ate less because there was less to eat, and that's why they ate so much when they could, because it was on the table and you'd best get into it before it goes bad. They understood that the earth was bigger than they were. It wasn't under their authority, that they weren't the top dog. And I'm wondering now if global climate change isn't the price we pay for pretending the earth was just a large house with an ever larger furnace that we could continue to stoke. Not that we should return to log huts and bearskin robes, but perhaps we should look before leaping into the next technological advance. Remember, the internet was going to save us. I don't feel any closer to saved now than I did before. Do we really need more apps, more watts, more miles, more gigabytes, more stuff under our tree? If that would satisfy us. The trees, of course, do not want more. They are willing to live with less. The jays and the grackles find a way to fluff their feathers and endure. Have they some wisdom we should consider after all this? Something to think on, I guess, when waking up in the middle of the night, which some of us do, and you find yourself wondering what it all means. I understand that in ancient days, especially in the wintertime, people actually slept twice. They'd go to bed when the sun went down. They'd wake up in the middle of the night, and they'd be awake for a couple of hours. And sometimes they might get up and tool about, go visit the neighbors, might do other things one can do under the cover of darkness. And then they go back to sleep again and get up with the sun and go to work. First sleep and second sleep. There's some wisdom there. Something to think on these dark days. What do we really need from life? Not just want, but need. What does it take to be at home in the world these days? We all know that the stuff we got on Wednesday morning was delicious and delightful, but what we remember is what we said and did with the people around us. And we took the pictures, but we didn't want the picture so much as to catch the memory so that we can go back to that and feel someone's shoulder against ours and notice how things have changed ever so slightly from last year. So that is that, as Austin says. No real sermon today, just leftovers, stuff that I was thinking about since Wednesday and before today. No deep message, no salvation, no hope whatsoever, just questions. If I had a message, and it's the same message I should be giving every Sunday, it's be thee more patient. Be more forgiving, be more kind, the usual preacherly stuff that all of us tell you every week, and we're still trying to figure out how to do it. Maybe someday it will come true. For the time being, though, as Auden says, it is enough, I think, for us to just keep house, to keep body and soul together, to savor the morsels left over. I still have some mince pie that I'm portioning out for the next 2 or 3 days. Just be here now. Try not to be so much in a hurry about getting into tomorrow. Let the notes go by, ring around inside your head. Just show up, people. Nothing fancy. The spring will come and more things to do, and we'll have mighty important tasks in this church too. But right now, huddle up a little. Put your arm around someone's shoulder because they're cold. Or let them put their arms around you because you're cold. And in the midst of the season of darkness, let yourself dream more. Dream on and on. Silly dreams that find you at night and in the day, that brighten up the nights that we hope, if they don't come true, will keep us hoping that tomorrow is worth finding. May these few words of my mouth and these meditations of my heart be found true in thy sight, my rock and my redeemer, and in yours. Blessings be upon you all. And if you have some music for our finish, now is the time to get it ready. Thank you for indulging a bizarre service with almost no religion in it and plenty of happiness. They too always seem to keep good distance from one another. So I hope you had a merry, pleasant, ironic, irreverent time, and that you'll be back again next week when we have church again, and I'll see you then. Until then, amen and amen.
Snow can wait, I forgot my mittens. Wipe my nose, get my new boots on. I get a little warm in my heart when I think of winter. I put my hand in my father's glove. I want off where the drifts get deeper. Sleeping Beauty trips me with a frown. I hear a voice, you must learn to stand up for yourself, 'cause I can't always be around. He says, when you gonna make up your mind? When you gonna love you as much as I do? When you gonna make up your mind? 'Cause things are gonna change so fast. All the white horses are still in bed. I tell you that I'll always want you near. You say that things change, my dear. Boys get discovered as winter melts. Flowers competing for the sun. Year goes by and I'm still here waiting, with a ring where some snowman was. Mirror, mirror, where's the crystal palace? But I only can see myself skating around the truth who I am. But I know, Dad, the ice is getting thin. He says, when you gonna make up your mind? When you gonna love you as much as I do? When you gonna make up your mind? 'Cause things are gonna change so fast. All the white horses are still in bed. I tell you that I'll always want you near. You say that things change, my dear. Hair is gray and the fires are burning. So many dreams on the shelf. You said I wanted you to be proud of me. I always wanted that myself. When you gonna make up your mind? When you gonna love you as much as I do? When you gonna make up your mind? 'Cause things are gonna change so fast. All the white horses have gone ahead. I tell you that I'll always want you near. You say that things change, my dear. Never change.